Hi everyone, it's Tara Bianca with Be Light Transformative Therapy, and today I want to continue our conversation of triangular breathing. If you missed part one of this conversation, you can check that out right here. Today we're going to continue practicing and talking about our upside down triangle. So that means inhale, hold, exhale. But today we're going to experiment with turning this into an isosceles triangle by extending that exhale. And then I also want to have a comparison point. So we're going to practice a simple one-to-one breath cadence and see how that compares to the effects we feel from the triangular breath. So for today's practice, I want to use a 4-8 cadence and an 8-8 cadence as sort of a jump off point for further exploring our triangular breath and also as a point of comparison. And then eventually I want to get to an isosceles triangle today, and we're going to make it a 4-4-8 triangle. So that means we're going to inhale for a count of 4. You can't see my finger. Inhale for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, and then exhale for a count of 8. So we're starting to work on the triangular breath, but really working on that extended exhale, because we know when we extend that exhale, it tends to elicit more of a parasympathetic response in the body and create that down regulation that so many of us are looking for. So let's just start by doing a simple 4-8 cadence. So no holds in either direction, just breathing in for a count of 4 through the nose, breathing out for a count of 8 through the nose. So a 1-2 ratio. Just as a point of comparison, I want to see how you guys feel doing this 4-8 cadence without any holds. So here we go. Let's just do it 4 times in a row together. The usual rules: lips closed, tongue on the roof of the mouth, breathing in and out quietly, gently, lightly through the nose. Here we go. Breathing in for 4. Out for 8. In for 4. Out for 8. In for 4. Out for 8. Last time. In for 4. Out for 8. Good. So how do you feel just doing that simple 1-2 cadence? Is it stressful? Is it challenging? Or is it relaxing? So I know as newcomers to a conscious breath practice, sometimes this 4-8 cadence can feel a little challenging, right? It's very slow. It's a 12 count breath cycle, right? So only 5 breaths per minute. And sometimes you need to do a little bit more preparation work to get to this cadence. And that's totally understandable and totally reasonable. So usually the sort of challenging part, or the tricky part for people, is really slowing down and extending that exhale without running out of air. Yeah. So now let's try breathing in for 8. So it allows us to fill up a little bit more, and exhaling for a count of 8. And let's see if extending that exhale for a count of 8 is a little bit easier. And now again, an 8-8 cadence is not for everybody. So those of you new to this sort of conscious breathing, play around with it, but don't get frustrated if it feels too slow for you right now. But the rest of you who have been kind of playing with these guided sessions for a while, let's just try 4 times, 4 rounds of 8-8 breathing right now, and compare it to the 4-8 breathing we just did. So here we go. Number 1, breathing in for 8. And out. And in. and out. And in. And out. Last time, and in. And out. Good. So now, how did you feel doing this cadence? So remember, we're breathing down to 3.75 breaths per minute. So we've really slowed down the breath, and that might not feel that easy for everybody. But for those of you who find that relatively easy, how do you find it different than the 4-8 breathing? For me, at least today, in this moment, especially since I'm having a little bit of this gut flare up this month and my CO2 tolerance has been a little bit weird this month and all these other things, I actually feel more comfortable doing this cadence than the first one. This 1-to-1 ratio felt more comfortable for me because it didn't feel as stressful to have to extend my exhale, right? So that's what my personal experience is today. That might not be your personal experience, and that might not be my personal experience tomorrow or next week, right? But just in this moment, that's what I'm noticing. So just take a moment and think to yourself, well, what was different about those two cadences? How am I responding to them differently? Okay, so now we sort of have a baseline. We have something to compare when we go into our triangular breathing now. And we can say, okay, well, is this triangular breathing as relaxing as a simple 1-2 ratio or a 1-1 ratio? How am I feeling differently doing this triangular breath? Is it worth my time to even practice it? Do I get different value out of it or some value out of it? So we're going to start with our isosceles triangle today. So that's going to be a 4 counts to breathe in, 4 counts to hold at the top, and 8 counts to breathe out. So we're extending that exhale. So now we're at a 16-second breath cycle, right? So really slowing the breath down. I want you to do it this first time, just breathing in, holding the breath statically, no movement through the ribs or the belly, and then exhaling out for 8. We're going to do that 4 times and we're going to see how we feel. So here we go, breathing in for 4. And hold. Out for 8. And in. And hold. Out for 8. And in. And hold. Out for 8. And in. And hold. Out for 8. Good. Pausing for a moment, noticing what you feel. So we have a lot to compare today, right? How did this triangular cadence feel compared to either your 1-2 cadence of 4 counts in and 8 counts out? And how did it compare to your 1-1 cadence of 8 counts in and 8 counts out? I mean, for me, I kind of liked it. It felt pretty similar to the 8-8 actually. We're going to do another variation, which I think I'm going to like better, but I kind of enjoyed it. I feel pretty relaxed. I feel good with that. And also, for those of you who did part 1 of this video series, how does doing this isosceles triangular breath compare to doing that more equilateral one? So today we're doing 4, 4, 8. In the last video, we did 4, 4, 4. Right? So also kind of discerning, well, which type of triangle do I enjoy more? And do I enjoy putting most of my focus onto the exhale, or do I prefer to have all legs of the triangle even? Okay, so the last thing I want to try today now is the same thing we did in part 1 in the first video, which is we're still going to do 4 counts in, 4 counts to hold, and 8 counts out. But this time, as we do our holds, we're not going to take more breath in or let breath out, but we're going to continue to expand and open the ribs, right? So we're going to add in that bit of movement as we're holding. So sort of an active pause, I guess, an active retention. So breathing in for 4, holding your breath and continuing to expand the ribs, and then exhaling out for a count of 8. Let's try it 4 times and see how it feels. I have a feeling this is going to be my favorite today, but who knows? Here we go. Breathing in. Hold and expand. Out for 8. And in. Hold. Out for 8. And in. And hold. Out for 8. And in. And hold. Out for 8. Okay, and then just take another moment. How do you feel? How does this compare to doing the triangular breathing without the rib expansion? How does it compare to the simpler cadences of 1 to 2 or 1 to 1? Which did you like the best? What do you feel in your body? For me today, I actually think I like just the simple 1 to 1 cadence the best. So for me, it just felt easy and nourishing and calming, and I didn't have to think too much. You know, it depends where your brain is at too. The other kind of factor for a triangular breath is that because you have to kind of keep track of where the retention is, it keeps your mind a little bit more engaged. So it's harder to space out and it's harder to have these sort of scattered thoughts. And so that might work for you some days, and other days that might not work for you. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this comparison of these 4 different breathing cadences, one after the other. And I hope that you were able to feel a little bit of differentiation and subtle nuances of how they can potentially benefit your body in different ways. I'd love to hear your feedback on this experiment that we did today. Which was your favorite variation? Did you notice subtle differences between each of the variations? And if so, what differences did you feel? In the next video, we'll continue talking about triangular breathing, but we're going to flip it right side up, meaning inhale, exhale, hold. And we'll look at some different variations of that triangle. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. Also, if you haven't already, please check out my totally free Breath Basics 6-day challenge. Check out my new Be Light store, where I've got lots of ebooks and video series all about breathing. And then also, please consider joining my private online Be Light community. And lastly, if you'd like to further support the channel, you may always do so by visiting my Buy Me a Coffee page. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.